friends. Welcome to the Truth About Exotic Dancing, Episode 2 Build Your Own Stripper. I'll be your guide, Robin Collins. Today we are talking about how to pick a name and a story. It's important to understand that this is just what worked for me. There are many girls out there who chose to be honest and it worked out for them. I just didn't feel comfortable going that route because, trauma. I danced under the name Harriet Robin Collins. People would ask me what my real name was, and it was easy to convince them that it was Robin because it sounds like a real name. If you can convince someone that your name is actually Cinnamon, get it, girl. Honestly. Harriet Robin Collins was a name of many purposes. I told everyone my name was Robin, and if they would press me for my real name, I would confess that it was actually Harriet, but only after they gave me money. How does this work? Let me explain. If a customer wants to know my name, I say Robin. Then they say, no, it's not. And instead of sitting there and arguing with them and not making any money, I say, okay, it's not. And I'll tell you my real name, but it's like an old lady name. So I'm not going to feel sexy afterwards. So you have to get a dance if I tell you my real name. And men love to help. So they say, oh yeah, absolutely. So we go back to the couch area. I get money. Always get the money first. And I tell them it's Harriet. We have some laughs. We share a moment. And this leaves him feeling like we have a connection, which is always a great thing because people remember that connection. They may not remember your name necessarily, but they do remember, oh, where's that one stripper? Where's the one with the crazy name? I've also had people willing to pay me for me to tell them my real name. And let's just take a moment and think about that, why anyone would decline a dance yet pay $50 to know your real name. Harriet is also a distracting name. A hot stripper named Harriet, it would distract people from pressing for more information like where I grew up, where I went to school, stuff like that. And having such a name was a good excuse on why I went by my middle name, Robin. When you use a middle name instead of a first name, it makes a Google search for you a little bit more difficult as well. There are many girls out there who were loose about telling people their real name and they made it out okay. That's good for them. I just found out early on that a fake name is where I felt comfortable. The first club I worked at, I went by the name PJ, which wasn't smart because everybody would ask me what PJ stood for, and I'd be like, and I didn't end up telling people the same thing, so, that happened. I ended up telling a lot of people that it stood for Patty Jean. And at the time, I was enrolled in a few college classes, and a customer, let's call him Brian, him and I were getting to be pretty close friends, and he seemed like a trustworthy guy. Until one day, he came in, and he was mad at me. And when I asked him why, he said, because you're a liar. I could see that. He said he went up to the college I said I was going to and asked them about me, and they said no one was enrolled with the name Patty Jean Jackson. Right, because that wasn't my name. And from that moment on, I just felt safer lying about almost everything. Because I don't know how this guy was able to get that type of information. Because from what I understand, you can't just go up to an admissions office and ask. Like, does this person go here? I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to do that. So that freaked me out. I stopped working there. So our next topic is Tell me about yourself. No thanks. That's not safe. But you can't tell people that because that doesn't make you any money. And it's probably safe. I'm just, trauma. So my response was usually pretty playful. I would say, my name's Robin. I love to read and do yoga. Now, this tells people that you're smart and you're good to your body. It's also a great distraction because everyone likes talking about yoga. It's a great segue because let's get the topic off of me. I would tell them pole dancing is super fun and I love it, but not more than I love my cat Gizmo. And this would usually cause them to talk about their pet, another great segue. And with all of these opportunities to distract them from talking about me, if none of those worked, I would go in for the closer. I would say, I recently got into sculpting. Now, this raises a lot of questions for people. Like, oh, like sculpting, like, are you doing clay? Like, what do you sculpt? So the customer says, sculpting, really? And I say, yes, and a strip club is a great way to practice my technique. Well, at this point, the customer is very intrigued. I ask them, would you like to help me practice? And men love being helpful. So they'll ask, well, what do I need to do? So I lean in and I say, just sit there and be putty in my hands. Having a fan base of regular customers that come in to see you is very helpful in the success of dancing. These people come in regularly to see you. They tend to spend all or most of their strip club money on you or people you deem worthy of their money. Some dancers fall into the trap of seeing these people outside of the club in an attempt to get more money. I don't recommend that because it blurs the lines. It gets really confusing. Just don't take your work home with you. I like the clear-cut lines of the strip club. You give me money, I provide a service in the form of a dance that's going to give you an erection. And why do men just pay for erections? It's really weird. Say you see them outside of the club, say you two meet up for lunch. Of course they pay for lunch, but then if they give you money, what are they giving you money for exactly? Then you owe them. I don't like owing people anything. So, one dance, one payment, I like that. Tip me on stage, again, I like that. Don't just hand me money. I like the idea of giving those types of customers a way to contact you so you can tell them when you're working or if there's any type of specials that are going on at the club, you could let them know about that. It also makes the customer feel special and makes them feel like you trust them enough to give them your phone number. A lot of times after you give a customer your contact information, they'll think it's okay to chat randomly throughout the day with you like friends do. And it's okay that they have that impression. But don't think that just because you gave someone your phone number means that you have to respond to every text or every call. You need to create that boundary. Let them know that you're not always available. You're actually a very busy person. I recommend having an excuse like a second job, or you're going to school. Maybe you're helping out a relative or a sibling, maybe a sibling with their kids. And this is also helpful for when a customer wants to see you outside the club. It's like, oh, I'd love to, but I'm just so busy, helping grandma change your sheets. It's hard for old people to change their sheets. Yeah, I just don't like seeing customers outside of the club because if you're seeing them outside of the club, why do they need to come to the club anymore? You're so reachable, you're so obtainable outside of the club. They don't have to deal with other customers getting your attention you going on stage, you disappearing into the dressing room, things like that. So they really want to see you outside, but then the club that you work at, the club that has your back, they're not making any money. They need to make money off of you and your customers to keep that club up and running. I've had customers get a VIP room with me just to catch up. Because again, when I'm out on the floor, people are talking to me, I'm always busy with things, I disappear in the dressing room for some reason, who knows? And so they want my attention, so they pay for it, and we go sit in a VIP room. I was always real cautious about telling customers about my past and my family, which is a valid boundary to have. If a customer would ask me where I was from, I would list all the cities that I used to live in and just say I moved around a lot because my father was a psycho. And they really liked that because ding, 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 daddy issues. Are there strippers out there without daddy issues? Customers will usually drop it at that point. And if they do press me for more information, I simply say, you can know about my past or you can know what these hips can do. Which one do you want? They usually go for the hips. Putting up that boundary of not telling a customer about your past or your family is totally okay, and don't let anyone tell you differently. Some people will try to make you feel like an idiot. Like, oh, really? You think I'm really going to stalk you? I don't know. Maybe. You do have the van. I don't know. Let's move on to more fun stuff, like clothes. Stripper outfits are super fun. Stripper outfits are different than lingerie. Lingerie is designed to be tight, hold things up and in. It requires a team effort to take it off because you usually do have help taking it off and, I don't know, getting all lubed up or whatnot. I don't know what people do. So, exotic dancing clothes, they're going to accentuate your curves, your bust, your bootay. They're more durable than lingerie. They're going to be form-fitting, easy to take off. They're going to show just enough. Let's talk about what they shouldn't be. They should not be just a bra and underwear. Please don't be that girl. Please. They also shouldn't take an entire team of strippers to dress you in it. Your outfit should not leave elastic line indents. The way dancer clothes are made, they don't have an inseam, and they are made from stretchy fabric. So there isn't necessarily an elastic band, but more the whole piece is elastic. So it's going to fit your whole body part. Like if you think about the difference between a pair of brief underwear for women versus a pair of those no-show underwear. The brief, it has an elastic band around the front, elastic band around the legs, but then the no-seam or the no-show, it's just the whole thing is of that stretchy elastic material. So it clings to your whole body, makes it look real nice. Quality dancer clothes, they're handmade, which is nice because most strippers aren't one size over their whole body. We're bigger in the top and bottom, smaller in the midsection. Another nice thing about having handmade clothing is the quantities are limited. So you don't end up having the same one as 6 other people in the club because that's a hella don't. Macklemore, what? Let's talk about shoes. There are shoes made specifically for exotic dancing. Get a pair. They don't leave scuff marks on the stage. They're going to help you climb the pole more easily. They're going to make your feet and your legs look sexy because that's what they're supposed to do. And most importantly, you look like a professional when you wear them. Guess what you look like walking around a strip club in fucking house shoes or flip-flops? Guess what you look like? You look like an asshole who has no idea what they're doing. You look like a baby stripper, just walking around in your little toddler shoes. You look ridiculous. If you say the shoes hurt your feet, wear them until they don't. Grow some calluses, stock up on the Band-Aids, you'll be fine. Once you get enough alcohol in you, you can't even feel your feet. If you're afraid of the lack of ankle support, buy boots. Are you intimidated by this spiked heel? Get a thicker heel. There are so many options out there. I highly recommend the brand Pleasers. They'll last you about a year or longer because of how regularly you wear them. If you think about you buy a nice pair of regular heels, they'll last you a few years because, you're not really wearing them that much. These stripper shoes, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, and you're on them. They go through it. If stripper shoes could talk. You always want to keep the receipt when you're buying the shoes because some are defective. You get that bad batch. Keep the receipt. If you can't return them to the store, you can contact the manufacturer about getting a new pair or at least a discount on a new pair. The manufacturers are really good to their stripper customers. There's a lot of information online about how to dress for your body type, and I highly recommend looking into that. I found that when I wore a mini dress that covered my midsection, it was harder to close the sail versus when I would wear a two-piece, it was a lot easier. This wasn't the case for a lot of my coworkers because our bodies were structured differently. I have a bigger upper body and long legs. My torso is short, so a mini dress would make me look boxy. I found some dresses that exposed the skin on my sides, and it gave me a nice outline, but any dress that was just one solid color or fabric the whole way down, it just didn't look good on me. I also made it a point to wear jewelry, earrings and a necklace. I didn't really do rings or bracelets because I did a lot of pole work. Surprisingly, the necklaces were short enough that they didn't get in the way when I would be upside down. A lot of girls went the route of having a choker necklace. Looked really good on them. Jewelry, I feel, just finishes the outfit. When I would be getting dressed, I would think about what all would I put into myself if I was getting ready for a first date that I was excited about. And that would really help me, close in. Well, friends, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank you all for listening and supporting me. Again, this is Robin Collins. Make sure to like and subscribe. Be up to date on all of the new shows that come out. Next week, we'll get into hair and makeup because a dancer has different rules for hair and makeup because we're out there working. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Enjoy your journey. Find some good travel buddies. Rock it out. Bye.
Ain't no ordinary story. Ready to turn it off if you worried. Another relatable story of hustling hard just to make ends meet. Chasing the paper so she can eat. Exposing herself from her head to her feet. Put her pride to the side to be judged morally. A single mother trying desperately to avoid the beast that lurk the streets, that lead to fucked up memories. A child with a broken family, made her out to be full of negativity with no hopes to dream of a life filled with peace and harmony. It's hard to be, so fucking hard to be in the right state of mind when you're too damn blind to see.
She's broken, hurt, and all alone. In search of a place to call home.
There's no place like home.
All alone, she's
She make the moves look so natural, so flexible on the stage flow with the goal to feel a little more comfortable, fully exposed on the strip pole. Curtain call, collect the go. Rosie on the beat, Tony Fresh, featuring Maria Di Donato.
All alone, she's a runaway girl. Never know what she runs away from. From a beautiful disaster.